Development of Grand Theft Auto 4 ceased by April 21, 2008 when the game was submitted for manufacturing. The developers originally considered using the entire state of New York before restricting it to Manhattan and then expanding it out again. The team consciously avoided a precise recreation of New York City to allow for more enjoyable game design, selecting the areas that they felt characterized it the best. The city was not built with specific missions in mind. The area was created first, and missions implemented later. To achieve a realistic environment, 60 to 70 employees from Rockstar North traveled to New York for research, first at the beginning of the project in March or April 2005 for a week and a half. A full-time research team based in New York handled further requests for information, such as the ethnic minority of a neighborhood or videos of traffic patterns. They also studied architectural plans for apartments, used satellite images to determine city block layout, researched sales figures for models of cars, and read books that detailed the city's infrastructure including its subways, sewers, and garbage disposal. The Russian shop is the first clothing shop accessible from the start of the game. However, the clothing blip on the radar only appears after visiting the shop. The store features cheap street clothes and is the only shop in Liberty City that sells glasses and hats. It is the cheapest of the 3 clothing stores, with prices ranging from $8 to $36. Most of the clothing sold there has in fact been imported from Eastern Europe, as portions of Nico's original outfit can be repurchased here. According to the cashier, some of the clothing has been imported from Bulgaria. Attacking the cashier will rarely induce a wanted level, though Nico will be attacked by gang members outside the shop once he leaves. Michelle and Kiki Jenkins prefer Nico to wear clothing from the Russian shop. The shop is inaccessible in The Lost and Damned, The Ballad of Gay Tony and GTA Chinatown Wars. Befitting the shop's location, many of the signs inside are written in Cyrillic. Nico cannot steal money from the cash register, as pressing the action button will cause Nico to pick up a soda can from the desk beside the register instead. Star Junction is intended to mimic the functions of New York City's Times Square as both a cultural and corporate center of the city. Star Junction's urban design is characterized by heavily ad-laden buildings and entertainment establishments in the center surrounded by less decorated apartments. While most districts in Liberty City are generally not strictly adherent to the design of their counterpart, Star Junction's is more accurate in layout as Times Square, placing in-game renditions of Times Square's landmarks as accurately as possible. For example, the Star Junction police station is a substation of the Liberty City Police Department, just like its real-life counterpart. Most of the station is located underground. The Rockefeller Center is depicted as the Columbus Center, complete with a public courtyard surrounded by office towers. Just north of the LCPD substation is an LC Services recruiting center, the game's equivalent of Times Square's United States Armed Forces recruiting station. The earliest settlement that would eventually become Liberty City was established in 1609, when the Dutch hired the English explorer Horatio Humboldt to find a new location for them to sell marijuana. Located in the corner of Vauxhall Street and Exeter Avenue in East Holland, Algonquin, near the border with North Holland, Moto primarily sells sportswear and casual clothing that are considered to fall in the mid-range price category, between those sold at the 2 other clothing chains, the Russian shop and Perseus. It is possible that Moto was originally supposed to be Zip prior to the game's release, but the name was changed. This is due to both stores selling very similar clothing styles. Moto's presentation is generally simple but tidy, with neatly organized rows of wardrobes. The cashier is a well-dressed young man named Mike, who comments that Nico looks like he was in a Binko explosion, or was a past resident of Alderney. If Nico walks into the store wearing non-Moto clothing, the cashier can be scared away if Nico physically attacks or threatens him. Money can be also taken from the cash register. The player can get about $9 to $199 and an automatic 1-star wanted level. Moto is believed to be based on the famous clothing retail chain H&M. Moto could also be a reference to the Romanian word moda, which means fashion. The Liberty City Police Department has around 40,000 police officers who each serve many different roles, most notably walking the beat on patrol all throughout Liberty City. They reign in a complete operational status over Liberty City, meaning they are the primary law enforcement organization in the city even if the FIB and NOOS have a presence there. The uniforms of the LCPD resemble that of the New York Police Department, NYPD. The aviation unit of the LCPD has a fleet of police Mavericks that are on constant patrol. Aviation assistance can be summoned from one of the 4 police stations with aviation facilities. The police Mavericks can be seen often in the skies of Liberty City, most often patrolling with annihilators above major bridges such as the Hickey Bridge and East Borough Bridge, looking for potential signs of terrorism. The LCPD is known for its very aggressive techniques in pursuing crime, most notably saturating a high-crime area with dozens of police officers and patrol cars. They take the famous NYPD rationale of having a large police presence, ensuring prevention of and a quick response to crime. The LCPD, along with the NUS and the FIB, become extremely aggressive when the player is wanted and continue to use deadly force against player even after the protagonist has died and grayed out. Despite their aggressive response if the player commits a crime, the LCPD can also assist the player if they are attacked by other NPCs. When the player reaches 2 stars, additional police vehicles are sent to the area, and the officers in the front passenger seats of the vehicles will step out wielding pump shotguns. At 3 stars, the NUS Patriotism and Immigration Authority will join the fight with NUS Patriots and NUS Cruisers, with LCPD officers firing on the player with shotguns and pistols, as well as a police maverick to oversee the scene and follow fleeing suspects. At 4 stars, instead of LCPD officers in a police maverick, the same helicopter is deployed with 2 NUS Tactical Response Unit riflemen with carbine rifles and a NUS pilot. On the ground, the police will deploy enforcers carrying 4 NUS Tactical Response Unit officers and FIB Buffaloes carrying 4 FIB agents. Both of these are equipped with body armor, carbine rifles, SMGs, and pump shotguns, with pistols carried as a backup weapon. At 5 and 6 stars, the LCPD, NUS and FIB will start to shoot out of their vehicles. There are 2 types of police officers that vary in their appearance and how they use the assigned equipment. Overweight officers are more passive in their roles and are more prominent in their patrol vehicles. When pursuing a suspect, they cannot run as fast as the average suspect and are seen wielding their pistols in 2 hands. Fit officers are somewhat better trained and are more determinant of their actions. When pursuing a suspect, they are likely to catch them, and will sprint after the suspect if they also attempt to sprint. They can also use pump shotguns and carbine rifles, in addition to pistols and sniper rifles. At sea, the LCPD is equipped with police predators, which appear when the player has 3 stars or more. The boats carry a police officer that pursues the player, with 2 police officers armed with carbine rifles at the back who will use deadly force against the player. It should be noted that for the first time in the series, LCPD officers will not hesitate to commandeer civilian vehicles, should no police vehicles be available to them. If necessary, the LCPD will take any ground vehicle, regardless of its performance or speed. In GTA 4, there were supposed to be female police officers. One can be spotted in the first GTA for official trailer, meaning they were cut late in development. Even though they are known for using lethal force, the LCPD is much more realistic in nature than its counterpart in GTA 5. They will tolerate much of the player's actions. The player can even point a gun at an officer and the officer will not physically engage the player, although this will incur a 1-star wanted level and incur a verbal reaction from the officer. There is an occasional glitch where if the player hits a police vehicle at very high speeds, the player will not gain a wanted star for an unknown reason. The occupants of the police vehicle will simply ignore the fact the player hits them. Sometimes, if the player attains a 1-star wanted level in front of a particular police officer, known internally as MY Cop Black 2, he might say, and out comes Roscoe. This is a reference to the Dukes of Hazzard, where the Hazzard County Sheriff is named Roscoe P. Coltrane. In an artwork of some LCPD officers, one police officer is firing a Desert Eagle and another one is holding a pistol that resembles the Beretta M9. This is inaccurate, as the Desert Eagle is never used by the LCPD, and the Beretta M9 is not seen in the game.